In 2018, a 2,400-year-old Greek merchant ship was found over 1 mile deep under the surface of the Black Sea near Bulgaria. It wasn't just its age that made this discovery so amazing. It was also the fact that it's the oldest intact sunken ship ever found. Even the rudder, rowing benches, and its unknown cargo remained still intact thanks to the anoxic waters of the Black Sea. The ship, which was 75 feet, or almost 23 meters in length, was found by the Black Sea Maritime Archaeology Project, who were surveying the seabed with a remote-operated vehicle as part of their research. The research project had been running for around 3 years at the time of the discovery. During that time, they found an impressive 67 shipwrecks, which included a number of Roman trading ships and a number of 17th century Cossack trading vessels. It's safe to say, however, that this discovery was their most impressive yet, and it has given experts plenty of insight, revealing to them that ancient ship design and construction was more sophisticated than they originally thought. The resemblance of the wreck is also very similar to the ship seen in the artwork on the Siren vase in the British Museum, also depicted here on this collector's stamp. The vase, which dates as far back as 480 BC, shows Odysseus strapped to the mast while his vessel sails past 3 mythical sea nymphs, whose legendary tunes were said to lure sailors to their watery demise. The intact yet unknown cargo remains to be opened, and until the research team gets more funding, we won't find out what the cargo contains, and maybe even more ships will remain undiscovered. Discovered in 1985, the Yonaguni Monument is located beneath the coast of the Japanese island of Yonaguni, which is roughly 300 miles southwest of the island of Okinawa. The amazing discovery was made by Kiichiro Aratake, who happened to be on a routine dive in the area. This incredible find became known as Japan's Atlantis. The Yonaguni Monument appears to be the remains of a man-made structure. It has a lot of interesting characteristics that are described as seemingly unnatural. This is due to the many symmetrical shapes and right angles it has, and also because of the similar angles and shapes seen in the turtleback tombs of Okinawa, just a few hundred miles away, and other ancient sites found throughout the world, such as the stone steps found around Cuzco in Peru. Another interesting feature was described by its discoverer as resembling a small staircase running through a gangway. The structures have divided many scientists and other people who have had the opportunity to study the site. Some people believe them to be naturally forming, which is not so hard to believe given that there are plenty of amazing formations that nature has provided us. And then there are those who believe the Yonaguni Monument is the remains of an ancient city, and that too is not so hard to believe, considering that underwater ruins have been discovered in other locations around the world too. For example, the ancient Egyptian city of Heraklion, which was discovered by French underwater archaeologist Dr. Frank Goddio in 2000. Another argument put forward by those who support the man-made theory is that while some of the characteristics seen at Yonaguni are also found in natural sandstone formations around the world, the concentration of so many strange formations in a small focused area seems unlikely. If it really was made by humans, they would have carved the site long before the area was completely submerged by water. This would have been after some kind of natural disaster, which could have been the result of tectonic activity, similar to the tsunami of 2004. This would have had to have been at least 10,000 years ago, which would also make the structure older than the pyramids of Egypt. Until further study takes place and more details are uncovered, perhaps even through using new satellite technology such as LiDAR, we'll never know for sure. In April 2020, marine biologists led by senior research scientist Nerida Wilson of the Western Australian Museum were taking part in a deep-sea expedition where they were studying Western Australia's Ningaloo underwater canyons, which are just off the Western Australian coast. During the study, they used an underwater robot called ROV Sebastian. With this, they completed 20 dives and explored the depths for over 180 hours. During that time, they discovered as many as 30 new species. The most fascinating was this bizarre, seemingly luminescent, tentacle-like creature, which is believed to be a new kind of siphonophore. Siphonophores are a type of deep-sea predator which are made up of multiple clones of itself. Together, they behave as one animal and spread out to catch small crustaceans and other small fish. Similar to the tentacles of a jellyfish, once their prey makes contact with them, they become paralysed and are pulled up into the colony. At an incredible length of more than 45 metres or 150 feet, it's said to be the longest animal that's ever been observed. Carly Weiner of the Schmidt Ocean Institute spoke to USA Today and said, "We think it's the longest animal recorded to date." To put this into perspective, this new siphonophore is about twice the length of the average blue whale and 3 times the length of a humpback whale. The research sub reached depths as deep as 4.4 kilometers or 2.7 miles, where it made the rest of its discoveries in underwater caverns. But this amazing creature was discovered when they were making their way back up to the surface at around 630 meters, a little over 2,000 feet. In April 2012, a deep-sea camera on an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico spotted something very unusual at 1,500 meters, almost 5,000 feet below the ocean's surface. The unusual video showing a strange billowing creature drifting into the view of the camera went viral at the time, since no one from the scientific community was able to positively identify what the creature actually was. Some of the first theories suggested it was a whale placenta, which seemed unlikely due to the deliberate movements made by the creature. Also, at that depth, a whale placenta would have attracted many kinds of scavengers pretty quickly, and there were none in view of the camera. Finally, 2 years after the video surfaced, the creature was identified by a team of marine biologists from Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Center. After taking a closer look at the hexagonal patterns on its swelling skin, the researchers were able to identify it as the enigmatic jellyfish, Deepstaria enigmatica. This species is so rarely observed alive that researchers have to refer to old notes from the 1960s and 1980s in order to identify it. The first ever documented sighting of the species was originally in 1967 by marine biologist Frederick Russell. This particular species of jellyfish can often grow to be about 2 foot wide, and usually makes its home in the cooler waters of the Antarctic, which is probably another reason why, on this occasion, it was harder to identify. As with many sea creatures, this jellyfish seems almost alien in appearance. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, more than 80% of our ocean is unmapped, unobserved, and unexplored. So there's no doubt we've got plenty more amazing creatures to discover.